I studied over 7,400 domains and I found some winning patterns that make bank over and over again. So you can see here, we have literally hundreds of websites in here. It goes all the way to 17,000 websites, more than 7,000 websites, 17,000 websites. But then we got our data analysts to do some research on how much money they're making. We even asked our friends, we know people in the industry, and we put together a list of about 40, 50 websites on this chart where we know they're making around 8 figures in revenue and multiple 7 figures net. Okay, so let's get into exactly what we discovered so that you can also apply the same principles for your online business as well. Okay, so as you could see here, the first insight is there are few ways of making a lot of money here, right? We got people here on the bottom corner making anywhere from 20 million to 30 million, $10 million, and people up here also making really good money as well. So now we charted this on a high volume to low volume, low profit to high profit. So you don't want to be in this corner, and we're going to talk about why you don't want to be here. But if you're doing low volume and you're doing low profit, you're not making that much money, obviously. But if you're doing high volume and you're doing high profit, you can make a lot of money. But there's also another way to make money, which is you just sell a higher ticket, you do low volume, you only work with so many people. But if you have 10 people paying you $1 million, you're still making bank, right? So the first thing is there's a lot of green here. So what does green actually mean? The green means that you have some sort of organic, that you have a personal brand on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on Twitter. You've got a list, you've got people that know you, like you, trust you. So there are about 50% of people that have some sort of a personal brand or a brand. But there's also the other 50%. There's a lot of yellow here, right? They don't really have a personal brand, but they're still making $12 million, $10 million, $5 million. So there's a lot we can learn there. And there's also all these companies with purple, right? They don't have much of a personal brand, but they're still making bank. This one over here making $8 million. So what are we learning here? Well, you don't need to have an organic following. Yes, it can help, but you don't need to have an organic following in order to make millions of dollars. So here is obviously a great example. Gym Launch, they got to 10 million net without having Harmozy as like having this massive brand, right? They targeted a specific group of people, gym owners, and they had a very specific solution for them. They created a great offer for this market and they just marketed the heck out of it, right? They did outreach on email, they ran ads, and they absolutely crushed it, right? Which is why he was able to have a huge exit. Now, there's other companies as well that follow that exact same playbook. Chief.com, it's a mastermind for women starting from $3,000 to $5,000 a year. They do a very specific outreach strategy where they reach out to female CEOs, CMOs, CFOs, CTOs on LinkedIn and email, and they sell them into a $5,000 a year program. And they have thousands of women paying this. Same thing with Eventa. Eventa does the exact same thing. They're not even purple, they're yellow, which means people in yellow have some sort of event model. And I'm going to get into that. Eventa does a very similar thing where they sell a mastermind event and they do outreach through email and LinkedIn, and they get people into a webinar. Once they get people into a webinar, they sell the subscription mastermind and they make thousands of dollars per one person. So another low volume play, but they're super profitable. And they, I think, got an exit for 80 million plus. So another company we looked into is Dubai Real Estate Lead Gen Company. They also do 10 million a year EBITDA, creator agency, 5 million net, a recruiting agency, 2 million net. So all these, there's people that are teaching people how to sell through Facebook groups. They do about $2 million. They don't really have a huge organic, but they do a webinar and they sell people. There's a review blog that reviews other programs online and then sell people into their own program. Not the most ethical practice, but they do about 1 million net because they just hate on other courses and then they just sell their own shit. Now, these models are working really well. Purple means that they're doing some sort of cold outreach or they are doing joint ventures. So this one over here, they have a VSL offer. Cost per acquisition was rising for this person, and instead of spending money on ads, they reallocated a good chunk of the budget into just investing back into the product. And they started doing cross promos with other list owners. And now they're making a few $100,000 a month without any ad costs. So they're doing joint ventures with others. That's another great way of reducing your CAC, your cost to acquire a client. So that's another way of making money without having to have like a huge organic and uploading all these videos. There's all these other companies as well. They're doing a JV strategy, making about 8 million a year net. This is another company doing online business events, also growing through joint venture partnerships. This one also does weekly live webinars, and they're doing cross promos with other list owners. So this is a great way to grow businesses and reduce your cost of acquisition. In fact, I know an Amazon brand, they've been in business for a decade. They don't run any ads. They have a 5-person team, and they're bringing in $4 million a year net without any ad spend. So tapping into different forms of traffic is a great way of getting profits in, because your cost of acquisition is literally zero. You're just giving 30 to 50% to your JV partner. And that's what our agency actually helps with as well, to help companies set that up. So now here's the interesting thing. If you don't do organic, you can still make millions. But if you do organic, well, you can make even more. Here's the difference between an agency, creator agency that does about $5 million. But then there's Neil Patel. He's just been building organic content and reinvesting whatever money he makes back into earned media on blogs and whatnot. He does 30 million a year. So if you do happen to have a brand, you'll just make more money. And if you just go up here to people like Grant Cardone, making bank, PM making bank, Ripon making 10 million a year, Rob over 10 million net, right? So there's a lot of money here. There is plenty of green. So a good way to think about it is, hey, you can start without an organic, but just keep on working on your organic. After 3 years, you can get into the big money zone. There's a lot of money to be made with a personal brand. With this person specifically, I know that before they had a big organic, they still had a webinar, but they were making a lot less money. So all these companies here that have some sort of event model, they're still making bank, right? Without having an organic presence, right? BG is making 8 million a year. This Audible brand's making over 10 million a year. This one making over 10 million a year. This bookkeeping brand, through an event-based model, is bringing in 5 to 10 million net a year. And this female real estate event business is bringing in over 10 million a year as well, net. What if they had a personal brand? They would be at these levels. They would be twice as much bigger. So once again, good news. You can still make money without having a personal brand. Even better news, if you do have a personal brand, you'll make even more, right? So that is a great insight. Event models are just crushing. There's another note over here. We're just seeing so many events, people that do some sort of challenges, or they have a really nailed webinar, even like a 3-day challenge. There's a lot of money to be made right here in this zone. Now, where you don't want to be is the low volume. Like if you're selling a $5,000, $10,000 high ticket, but you have very low profit and you're spending $3,000 to acquire a $4,000 customer, which is what a lot of VSLs do. The problem with these VSLs is they don't have enough specificity. They are going after mass market without an event. They just have a VSL that gets people on a phone call. That's very tough business right now. That's a tough business to be in. And you're going to keep on making no money unless you adapt. What you can do is you can either have more specificity, some of these, or you can have a personal brand. Some of these guys have a VSL, right, with the personal brand. Some of these guys have a very specific offer. Like this longevity clinic has a VSL, but a very specific offer, and then they're selling a $25,000 thing. So if you solve a very big pain point for a very specific market, you can still make money. Now, this last point, if you have this happening in your offer, then you can break all the rules. You can literally take a dump on everything that I've said, because if your offer is a hot offer that it's something that is like everyone is thinking about during the elections, let's say you have an elections related offer, or if the world is crashing and you have a survival offer, well, you can break all the rules and you'll still make bank. So right now we could see here, these are all Amazon digital offers, and that's hot right now. People are curious about it. So there's 3 webinars in the market that are just absolutely crushing right now. And same thing with the bookkeeping offer. I literally know of 3 bookkeeping offers that are making over $1 million a month right now. So same thing with real estate. There's a lot of people in the real estate market just printing money. So if you happen to be in a hot space, then you can just break all the rules and you'll still make money. So try always to position yourself in a way which is closer to one of these hot offers in the marketplace. Hopefully that helps you make millions. Take care.